Good morning to all. Today we are going to take our third part of our first chapter, sensations and responses. Is it? Last class or previous class, we have studied about stimulus, different kinds of stimulus, then what is a receptor, then the structure of neuron, what is a neuron, all these things we have studied in our previous class. So, we have said about the parts, different functions of each part, all these things we have studied. So before starting our new topics, let's have a review about our last class. We can see the structure of the neuron. Here you can see the basic neuron, the basic unit of the nervous system. We have told earlier that. Then structure of the neuron. Here you can see the different parts of a neuron, is it? The different parts of a neuron is cell body or cyton. Cell body is also known as cyton. Then dendron and dendrite, axon and axonite, and synaptic knob. These are the parts of a neuron. Then structure of a neuron. In that cell body, first part is cell body or cyton. Neuron processes a cell body with nucleus and cytoplasm. We have told that as other cells, we have studied about the structure of a cell earlier. As other type of cells, our neuron also consists of a cytoplasm and a nucleus inside that. Then comes the dendron and dendrite. Short branching processes from the cell body, and that is dendron. Carries impulses from dendrite to cyton. That is the function of the dendron. Then branches of dendron are known as the dendrites. Then comes the axon. We have already told the longest filament from the cell body is called the axon. The function of the axon is carries impulses from cell body to outside. Then branches of axon is known as axonite. Synaptic knob is the tip of the axonite. Then comes the Schwann cell, lipid layer that repeatedly encircle the axon to form myelin sheath. So next is the functions of myelin sheath. So how myelin sheath is formed? If a question comes like that, you have to write that is myelin sheath is formed by the repeated encircling of the Schwann cell. Is it clear for you? Then myelin sheath is shiny white in color. The color of the myelin sheath is shiny white in color. Then comes the functions of the myelin sheath, and the myelin sheath present in brain and spinal cord is made up of a specialized cells known as oligodendrocytes. So the myelin sheath present in the brain and spinal cord made up of specialized cells known as oligodendrocytes. Now we can go through the functions of the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath provides oxygen and nutrients to the axon. So you have seen in the picture that is the axon is encircled by the Schwann cell to form the myelin sheath, and this myelin sheath provides oxygen and nutrients to the axon. Then increases the speed of impulses. So myelin sheath helps in increasing the speed of the impulses. Then act as an insulator. Okay, then protect axon from external hazards or shocks. So this myelin sheath protects the axon from the external shocks or hazards happening for it. Then these are the parts of the neuron. Now you can see and the fully labeled picture of a neuron here. Dendrites, nucleus, Schwann cell, axon, myelin sheath, synaptic knob, and the cell body. These are the parts of the neuron we have studied. Then a neuron under the microscope view. If we are viewing a neuron through a microscope, the structure will be seen like this. Is it clear for you? Then, so these are the things. All these we have discussed in the last class. Is it? Structure of the neuron we have discussed in the last class. Only the function of the myelin sheath and how myelin sheath is formed is the new topic you have studied now, is it? That is, myelin sheath is formed by the repeated encircling of the Schwann cell. And Schwann cell is a lipid-containing layer, and it is formed, and that Schwann cell repeatedly encircle the axon to form the myelin, and that is lipid containing layer. Okay, it's clear for you. And this myelin sheath is shiny white in color, and the myelin sheath in brain and spinal cord is made up of specialized cells known as oligodendrocytes. And the functions of myelin sheath we have gone through. It helps to provide oxygen and nutrients to the axon, then regulate the speed of the impulses, helps in act as an electric insulator, help to protect the axon from the external shocks. These are the functions of the myelin sheath, is it? Then we have two topics coming under the myelin sheath, that is gray matter and white matter. Is it clear for you? So this gray matter and white matter is present in the brain, both brain and spinal cord. So what is gray matter and white matter? That you have to know. What is white matter means? The area or the region where the number of myelinated neurons are more is known as the white matter. It's clear for you why it has got the name white matter, because we have already told that myelin sheath is shiny white in color. So that shiny white color, so those neurons having the protection of the myelin sheath, so that when these myelinated neurons are seen in abundance, that part is called, that area or that part of the brain or spinal cord is thus the white matter. So that shiny white color of the myelin sheath provides the white color there. Then gray matter. Gray matter is the part of the spinal cord and brain where non-myelinated neurons, the neuron that is the axon, those neurons have no myelin cover. And so those neurons, non-myelinated neurons, are present in abundance in the parts of the brain and spinal cord. Those area is called as the gray matter. So you have to connect and study. You know that myelin sheath is shiny white in color. So those myelinated neurons are seen in abundance. That area will be having a white color appearance, and it is known as the white matter. And the area where non-myelinated neurons are seen in abundance, that part is called as the gray matter. And this white matter and this gray matter is present in the brain and the spinal cord. So both brain and spinal cord consist of the gray matter and the white matter. I think now it's clear for you what is gray matter and what is white matter, is it? Now we can watch a video. After that, I will explain how the impulses are transmitted through a neuron. You can see a video now.
Take a look at this figure. It represents the structure of a neuron. And what is a neuron? Neuron is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. Now, neuron has three main parts, which are dendrite, cell body, and axon. Let me tell you about them. Dendrite receives information from the previous cell and conducts it towards the cell body. The cell body contains the nucleus, mitochondria, and other cell organelles. It takes care of the maintenance and growth of the cell. The axon conducts messages away from the cell body towards the next dendrite. Neurons are also of three types: sensory neurons, motor neurons, and relaying neurons. Sensory neurons transmit impulses from the sensory receptors to the brain and the spinal cord. Motor neurons transmit messages from the brain to muscles and glands. Relaying neurons are found in the brain and spinal cord. They serve as connectors between the sensory and the motor neurons.
Okay. In the video, you have seen and the transmission of impulses. The dendrite is receiving the impulse, and from the dendrite, it is passing to the dendron. from the dendron to the cell body, and from cell body through the axon, it is moving to the axonite. From the axonite, it is reaching the synaptic knob. From the synaptic knob, the tip of the synaptic knob secrete a chemical substance known as neurotransmitter. And this neurotransmitter stimulate the adjacent dendrite of the next neuron. Adjacent means the next neuron. Dendrite of the next neuron, and a new impulse is formed there. And the impulses are transmitted to the next neuron. Is it clear for you? And this neurotransmitters, and these are the chemical substances, helps in stimulating the adjacent neuron. This neurotransmitter is produced in the tip of the synaptic knob. And the two examples for neurotransmitter is acetylcholine and dopamine are the example for the neurotransmitter. So once again, I will repeat it for you. Neurotransmitter are the chemical substances produced in the tip of the synaptic knob. Is it clear for you? What is neurotransmitter? Neurotransmitter is the chemical substance that is produced in the tip of the synaptic knob. And this chemical substance helps in stimulating the adjacent neuron and dendrite of the adjacent neuron. Adjacent means nearby. Okay, so the next neuron, and this neurotransmitter will stimulate the dendrites of the adjacent or the next neuron. So there produces a new impulse. What do you mean by the impulse? Messages. We have already told that impulse means messages. So a new impulse or a new message is created there. So as then as a new impulse is formed in the dendrite of the next neuron, what happens? It will pass to the other parts of the neuron, and this process continues, and then to the next neuron. Like this process will be continuing until it reaches the brain. And in this you have seen, and the example for the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine and dopamine. These are the two examples for the neurotransmitters. And the next thing you have seen, the different types of neuron. Neurons are classified on the basis of the direction of the impulses. So on the basis of direction of impulses, neurons are classified mainly into two, but we have seen three different types of neurons in the video. That is, the third type is relaying neurons. It has given there. And it is also known as interneurons. Is it clear for you? That is sensory neuron, motor neuron, and these are the two main kinds. And the relaying neuron means interneuron. Interneuron connect the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. And you have seen in the video about the function of the sensory neuron. What is the function of the sensory neuron? The sensory neuron carries impulses. Impulses means messages from different parts of our body to the brain and the spinal cord. Is it clear for you? So sensory neuron carries impulses from different parts of our body to brain and spinal cord. And when it reaches the brain and spinal cord, our brain and spinal cord in turn gives a message. That message is carried out through the motor neurons. So the motor neuron carries messages from brain and spinal cord to different parts of our body. And the function of the relaying neuron or interneuron is to connect this sensory neuron and the motor neuron. That is the function of the relaying or interneuron. Then on the basis of the functions, our nerves are classified into three. Nerves means what? Nerves are a group of axon or nerve fibers. Okay, nerves are a group of axon. So I have told you earlier in the class, that is a nerve and the neuron is different. Nerve consists of a group of axon, or a group of nerve fiber forms a nerve. Nerves on the basis of the function, they are divided into three, that is sensory nerve, motor nerve, and mixed nerve. Okay, as the name indicates, sensory nerve is made up of sensory nerve fibers, and its function is to carry messages from different parts of our body to brain and spinal cord. Then comes the motor nerve. Motor nerve carries impulses from brain and spinal cord to different parts of our body. Then, as the name indicates, and the motor nerve is made up of motor nerve fibers. Okay, Then mixed nerve. You have to study from that name itself. That is, mixed nerve consists of a mixture of motor nerve fibers and sensory nerve fibers. So what will be its function? It will be doing the function of both sensory nerve fibers and the motor nerve fibers. That is, this mixed nerve will carry the messages to and from the spinal brain and the spinal cord. That is the function of the mixed nerve. So don't get confused. Neurons are classified on the basis of their direction of impulses. They are classified mainly into two: sensory neuron and motor neuron. And the relaying or interneuron is also there. It is to connect the motor neuron and sensory neuron. And the nerves are classified into three on the basis of their function. They are classified into three: sensory nerve, motor nerve, and the mixed nerve. Is it clear for you? Then comes the, we have to discuss about neurons one by one, and the messages are transmitted and it is reaching the brain. How these impulses are generated, we can just look how these impulses are generated. You can see in this picture, that is, this is the portion axon. This is axon, and this part of the neuron I have drawn here. This is the axon. In the axon, normally it is positively outside and negatively inside, and negatively charged inside. So the charges in a normal axon, charge distribution is positively charged outside and negatively charged inside. But when a stimulus reaches there, when a stimuli reaches, enters into the axon, from the cell body, the message is moving to the axon. So when a stimuli is reaching the axon, there occurs a charge difference. You can see, and in this area, this is marked as, this is the stimulus. In this area, you can see outside negatively charged and inside positively charged. In that portion only. So normally an axon, the plasma membrane of the axon is positively charged outside and negatively charged inside. When a stimulus enters there, in that portion only, where the stimulus is there occurs a charge difference. That is, negatively charged outside and positively charged inside. This charge difference, this momentary charge difference, and this is not a permanent charge difference. According to the movement of the stimulus, the charge will be as normal. So this momentary charge difference stimulates the adjacent part of the axon. When this stimulates the adjacent part of the axon, there also occurs the similar change. That is, where the stimulus will move to that part, and where the stimulus is there occurs the charge difference. That is, negatively charged outside and positively charged inside. So according to the movement of the stimulus, the charge difference occurs. When the stimulus move from the axon to axonite, the plasma membrane of the axon will be as usual. That is, positively charged outside and negatively charged inside. So you have to keep in your mind one thing, that is, where the stimulus is there occurs the charge difference, and that charge difference is not permanent. It is a momentary charge difference. Only at that moment where that stimulus, how much time, how long that stimulus is there, only that time the charge difference is there. When the stimulus move away from there, the part will be as normal. That is, positively charged outside and negatively charged inside. So normal case for plasma axon of the plasma of the axon is positively charged outside and negatively charged inside. When the stimulus enters, there occurs the charge difference, that is, negatively charged outside and positively charged inside. And that charge difference is not permanent. It is a momentary charge difference, and temporary charge difference. And that temporary charge difference stimulates the adjacent part of the axon, and that stimulus this stimulus will be moved to that part. Like this, this process proceeds. As this process proceeds, the impulses get transmitted from one neuron to the other. Is it clear for you how the impulses are generated in an axon, or how the impulses are transmitted through an axon? Is it? Then comes we have told that when the charge, and these impulses are transmitted through the neuron as electric charges. Is it clear for you? So when this electric impulses in the form of electric charges reaches the synaptic knob, that synaptic knob secrete the neurotransmitter to the synaptic cleft. Okay, so when the neurotransmitter is produced in the synaptic cleft, it will stimulate the adjacent dendrite. Adjacent means the nearby neuron or the next neuron, dendrite of the next neuron. And we have already told that then again an impulse will be formed and it will be transmitted. And then what is synapse? Then comes the topic synapse. What is synapse? Synapse is the junction between two neurons. I have already told you, impulses in one neuron is transmitted to the adjacent neuron or the next neuron. So the gap in between that is known as synapse. Not only that gap, synapse is the junction between two neurons or a neuron or a muscle cell or a neuron or a glandular cell. And there are different types of cells. So the gap between, the junction between the two neurons or a neuron and a muscle cell or a neuron and a glandular cell is known as the synapse. And what is the function of synapse? Synapse helps in regulating the speed and direction of the impulses. Is it clear for you? That is the function of the synapse. Now, our nervous system is divided into two, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system consists of what? As the name indicates, it consists of two parts, that is brain and spinal cord. You know that the brain is situated in the center, at the same time spinal cord is situated in the center. So central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. Then comes the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system, as its name indicates, these are the neurons or the nerves that is moving to the periphery. Periphery means towards the end part. The peripheral nervous system consists of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. So once more I will repeat for you. Our nervous system is divided into two, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system consists of the 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of the spinal nerves. These are the nerves present in the peripheral nervous system. And as the name indicates, peripheral nervous system means the nerves that is moving towards the periphery of our body. And central nervous system, as its name indicates, the parts of the nervous system that is present in the center, that is our brain and spinal cord. Central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. Is it clear for you? Now we can move to the brain, structure of a brain. So brain, the center of the nervous system, and it comes under the central nervous system. This is the brain. Then brain, how brain is protected? Brain is protected inside a hard skull. We all know what is skull. So brain is protected inside a hard skull, and it is covered by three-layered membrane known as meninges. So the three-layered membrane that is covering the skull is known as the meninges. And inside the meninges, in between the meninges, what is present? CSF. CSF means cerebrospinal fluid is filled within the inner membranes and ventricles of the brain. Okay, so cerebrospinal fluid is present in between the membranes, inner membranes and the ventricles of the brain. Then what is the, as we have studied about the functions of myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is the protection for the axon. Likewise, this cerebrospinal fluid is also playing a function here. That is, the fluid formed, how this fluid is formed. Myelin sheath we have studied. How myelin sheath is formed we have studied. That is, the repeated encircling of the axon forms the myelin sheath. Likewise, here the cerebrospinal fluid is formed from the blood and is reabsorbed into the blood itself. Provide oxygen and nutrients to the tissues of the brain and regulate pressure inside the brain, then protect the brain from mechanical shock and injuries. As the myelin sheath protects the axon, here the cerebrospinal fluid protects the brain from mechanical shock and the injuries. Then parts of the brain we can study in the next class. Okay. Parts of the brain we can study in the next class, because as our time is going to end, I can't stop, I can't enter the full portion here now. Okay. So it's better for you to start the parts of the brain in the next class. I will just tell about the parts of the brain, that is cerebrum, then cerebellum, then hypothalamus, thalamus, then medulla oblongata. These are the 5 parts of the brain, that in detail what are the functions played by each part inside our brain, and that in detail we will study in our next class. So what all things you have studied in this class? You have studied about the protective covering of the axon, that is the myelin sheath. The Schwann cell repeatedly form the myelin sheath. Then about the function of the myelin sheath you have studied. Then what is white matter and gray matter you have studied today. Then about the different types of nerves and neuron you have studied, and what's the division of the nervous system. Nervous system divides into 2, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, and under this peripheral nervous system comes the brain and spinal cord. And next we have and just an introduction to the brain. Brain is protected inside a hard skull, and this skull having a 3-layered membrane, protective membrane called as meninges. Inside this membrane and inside the inner membranes, what is present? A fluid is present, that is known as the cerebrospinal fluid. And the function of the cerebrospinal fluid you have seen, that is it regulates the pressure inside the brain, protect the brain from external shock, provides the nutrients to the neurons or nerve cells inside the brain. All these are the functions of the cerebrospinal fluid. Then we have just gone through the parts of the brain, that is cerebrum, cerebellum, thalamus, hypothalamus, and the medulla oblongata. And in detail about each part, as our time is exceeding, we can't cover all those portions today. So remaining portions we can take in the next class. So go through the portions I have taken today. Remaining notes and everything we can follow in the WhatsApp. Thank you. I hope you all understood today's class. Thank you.